All right, well, welcome back to Exhaust Sports Auto. My name is Kevin, and you are looking at the new Shelby North America brand ambassador. No, I'm just joking. I'm not the brand ambassador for Shelby. I take that back. I just have the hat on because I recently went to the Shelby event for the GT500. So check out that video because this channel is not just about Lexus. It is about other automobiles as well. So please do watch that video. But you guys do seem to like Lexus the most, so I brought the king of all Lexus cars, the LS, of course, but this isn't just any old Lexus. It is the LS 500 F Sport. So I actually already drove the regular LS 500 twin turbo V6 as well as the LS 500H. So please do check out those videos. Now I'm here to check out this 500 F Sport because, well, Johnson Lexus of Durham, North Carolina, once again has hooked me up. So I'm going to leave all of Danny's information in the description box because you are more than welcome to purchase this heavily discounted LS 500 F Sport, which is now like 74 grand. This thing has the MSRP of about $86,000, so that's peculiar. You can also buy that LS 430 over there. That's in mint condition, and you can buy a structural blue 2021 LC 500 convertible. So have fun with that. All of their info is down below. But enough of that. Let's just get this bad boy out on the road because, well, this is an important car. I really like what Lexus is trying to do here with this automobile, and I wasn't the biggest fan of the LS 500H. However, I was a little more keen on the LS 500, like the regular one. And I've actually also driven the W222 Mercedes S-Class. It is the S550, like a 2015 one. I really love that. That is still, I think, my most favorite big body car, and I'm hoping that this might change me, you know, because I really want to like this car the most because I love the interior the most on this car. So there's that, and I've driven a 2020 BMW 740i as well. I'm not going to talk too much about the looks because I already talked about it before. Either you love it or you hate it. So the most important things is this vehicle does change on the looks because it's an F Sport. So, you know, I will mention that. It's got a different set of wheels on it. It's definitely different there. And a different grille, of course. A little body kitting is different. So that's all cool stuff there, I suppose. But, you know, you let me know in the comment section if you like the way this car looks or not. Now, on to more important things like this drive, but it's got the same 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6, which I actually do like this motor. I said that in the regular 2020 LS 500 review. I love this motor. It's very silky smooth. Impressed with the power delivery, all that stuff. It's the same 416 horsepower, 442 pounds-feet of torque. And this thing's got monster brakes, dude. 6 pistons in the front and 4 pistons in the back. That's an upgrade for sure for this particular vehicle. And other important characteristic changes here. So the variable gear ratio steering rack. I'm already sensing that this is a great steering rack. I really like this a lot. I get this bad boy out on the highway. This thing is effortlessly getting up to speed. You know, speed was never an issue with me with this car. Yeah, there definitely seems to be a precision here that was lacking with the other car. Yeah, this is really well done. Yeah, at these highway speeds, I'm doing a very good number right now, but you wouldn't even be able to tell, honestly. Yeah, this is great. And there's not even a ridiculous amount of wind noise in this particular car, so there is that. And that was some, you know, really good speeds, and the wind noise was not that ridiculous, so that is a big improvement with this car already, so I do like that. Now, handling with the LS 500H, you know, I noticed the air suspension on that thing was very kind of floaty and, you know, not super natural, but the regular LS 500 kind of fixed that for me. Put in the Sport Plus mode here. Gives you a nice little thrusting sensation. Not too much turbo lag or anything. Man, Sport Plus mode, it really carries the speed pretty well. I was pretty shocked by that. Yeah, no, power is not an issue. And I actually said this in the regular LS 500 review. I actually find the thrust in this to be superior, at least sensation-wise. You know, it feels quicker than S550 Benz with the twin turbo V8, and I kid you not, it might not be exactly faster on paper, but like it feels very quick. It gives you a more of a gut-wrenching sensation. It's not, you know, like an insanely quick car, but like it's pretty good, and I do appreciate and respect that. Yeah, you can be doing like way over the speed limit and not even know. You can be doing like 20, maybe even 30 miles an hour over the speed limit and not even know it, dude. This is a very refined car. So as a flagship luxury product, this is doing a great job. Now, the steering rack is already doing this car wonders, but this car also has rear wheel steering. In this car, I don't really find it to be that prevalent, but it's there, and I guess it's helping a little bit. I think it'll really help in slower speeds, like in a parking lot or something like that. But even out here, I mean, that's not the biggest change I've noticed, surprisingly. Usually I do love cars with a rear wheel steering rack, but yeah, in this vehicle, I just like the regular steering. I like that this car is a little bit more pinned down and not as floaty as the LS500H, and the regular LS500 wasn't bad, but this is definitely an improvement over that in terms of handling as well, so I do appreciate that for sure. Now, when you put it into Sport Plus mode, the fake engine noise does become a little bit more obvious, but it still doesn't bother me. I still think that they did a pretty good job with it. It does sound pretty natural for the most part. It might offend some people, but for me, it's not a huge deal. You don't hear too much of that turbo whistling sound at all, though, which is unfortunate, but it's okay. But it's still riding beautifully. The other LSs I've drove also had the 20-inch wheels on it as well, so that's not an issue. But the steering, the suspension, that they call it the adaptive suspension. All the F Sport cars, Lexus always says this. It's the exact same one that you get in the LC500. Same adaptive suspension, but honestly, it doesn't really make a difference. Put it back in normal, put it in the Sport Plus, it still rides beautifully. So, as a flagship, it's doing a great job in those regards. But would I purchase this car like over a standard LS500? I definitely would. This is making a big difference for me. Yeah, this is a really satisfactory experience. For me, like the regular LS500, reason why I wasn't super keen on it was because the ES350 that Lexus produces is a sublime riding car, man. But this now, it's powerful, and it has like a certain level of drivability. Maybe not quite as precise as the BMW, but it's pretty damn close. It's like 98% there. But I like the ride quality of this. I like this kind of buttery smooth feel that this Lexus has a little bit more. This feels smoother than the BMW. Not quite as smooth as the Mercedes S-Class, but here's the thing. This has more character than the Benz, I've noticed. This is a little bit more fun to drive than that Benz. And yeah, this is a flagship car that I would actually put on my short list, actually. I've driven an Audi A8, but it was a 2015 one, and Audi fanboys, or fangirls, I should say, got a little pissy with me in the Audi forums. Screw them, but whatever. Compared to a 2015 Audi, yeah, these cars are superior. But I haven't driven the 2020 or 2019 to give you an accurate assessment on that. Yeah, the 10-speed transmission that you pretty much get, which is identical to the LC500, all that responds perfectly, and I love that. But most importantly, this car doesn't have that stupid constant wind noise that the regular LS500 I drove had and the LS500H. Both of these cars had that stupid wind noise, even at like 45 miles per hour. This is dead silent, and I love that. And yes, this is riding on the Bridgestone Turanza run flat tires, but these Bridgestone run flats aren't that loud, actually, so I appreciate that. And this is more of a all season, not so much a summer tire, so there is that. That also helps with the tread life on these things. So yeah, I like the regular LS500, but yeah, this, especially now with the way they've discounted this F Sport, I'm definitely choosing this, man. This is a great car. I really appreciate the luxuriousness of it as a luxury car, but also the slight bit of dynamics as well. When I had it on those roundabouts, it's just like, man, you hardly feel it. It's just such an effortless driving experience. So it's got that aspect, but it's also got like that BMW-esque, like, driving capability. So it's like the best of both worlds, and you can even get it with, this is the rear wheel drive trim, but you can also get it with all wheel drive, make it a great kind of year-round vehicle if you wanted it to be. So, yeah, there's a little bit of body roll, but definitely less than the regular LS500. So there's that. Yeah, this is a phenomenal product. This is the flagship that Lexus needs to be proud of. This is a great car. Yeah, all the little minute changes has made a difference into me liking this car a lot more. I'll end off on this before I get into the interior segment. Objectively, yes, the Mercedes S-Class is still a bit quieter, than this car, and it's, ride quality, they're, not too far apart, but like, yeah, the Benz definitely has a little bit more tech, and I guess you can argue a little bit more prestige as well. But, as a package, I really like, so why did I say I like the Lexus so much? Well, initially, that LS, right, the regular LS 500s, the interior is really fancy, and the F Sport, not so much. That's the only unfortunate thing. I'll talk more about that in a little bit because I'm about to move on to the interior segment. But, like, driving wise, it had more character. This engine, despite it being a V6 and not a V8, it has a lot of character to it. I like winding it out. I don't mind the fake engine noise coming through the speakers. It actually doesn't sound half bad. So I just like, there's like a more fun factor to the driving aspect that was kind of missing in the S-Class. So there is that. This is a car I'd be really happy to pilot as an everyday basis. It's a great complement to an LC 500. So that's really cool, man. I'm glad that I can now happily recommend this vehicle, the LS 500, because it's a car I really wanted to like because I love the looks of this car. So there's that. Now let's move on to the interior. I'm not going to go too much in depth with the interior. I'm just going to talk about the brief kind of changes because you can watch the other LS 500 videos for a more in-depth look. Now this one, you don't get as much. I like the interior layout in the regular car because I like the wood trim a little bit more. This one, it kind of lacks that. But you have this little material right here, this little aluminum finish. It's more of a sporty cabin space. So what do you get? You still got this, suede insert right here. I appreciate that. And these seats are an F Sport bespoke seat. You have this interesting pattern in the middle. You have some suede inserts. And for 2020, you have the option of getting a white seat combination as well. So there is that. But this is the black interior, of course. And, I kind of, again, I like the regular LS 500 interior a little bit more, but that is like plush luxury. This is trying to match the F Sport demeanor, so it's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make. It's not a bad interior space, don't get me wrong. It's still a flagship Lexus. I still prefer even this interior to the competition. I swear to you, I love this interior that much. There's just a lot going on here aesthetically. Like look right here, leather, metal, suede, like this floating thing in the middle. There's just a lot going on here, and the other interiors, like the German car interiors, are just not this interesting. And it's not because I'm some Lexus fanboy. I really like the Mercedes S-Class, honestly. That was my most favorite one. And it's still, it's a toss-up. You'll be happy with either one, but, Lexus freaks, you like the reliability. That's like a big phrase for you people with these cars. I could care less about reliability. That's not why I like this car. That's not why I like Lexus at all. I like it for the character, honestly, and the way it feels and the way it drives. That's something that most journalists don't talk about, but I do like the way these cars drive, so there's that. Now, this car, the steering wheel is also different. It's more perforated, and I like the soft, plush nature of the regular LS 500 steering wheel, and with the wood trimmings, none of that is here, but this is still great. This reminds me of the LC 500 steering wheel, so there's that. You have these nice little paddle shifters right here. The gauge cluster changes. It's pretty much the exact same as you get in the F Sport cars, the LC 500, all those things, and it does move around and all that good stuff, so there is that. This thing is rated to get about 19 city, 30 on the highway. That's pretty good, but if you're going to be smashing on this thing, expect to get like 15 or 16. So this car is fitted with the Mark Levinson. Phenomenal, 17 or 18 speakers, 2,400 watts. It's really nuts. This is a superior Mark Levinson than the LC 500 because it's a four-door car, and they can kind of optimize the sound quality for the four-door vehicle. So there is that. Same infotainment. You get Apple CarPlay, no Android Auto, and for 2020, all the great things I like about it are still here. All the bad things are still here. They buried the heated steering wheel, heated seats, cooled seats, all that's in the infotainment. But the good things that they did, they separated the climate control. So I appreciate that. The gear lever knob, this digi shifter, is actually like this perforated material as well. Just the materials are like a little bit different. You get like these aluminum, what do you call it? The throttle pedal and the brake pedal as well, but yeah, everything else is the same. The space behind is the same as well. No heated seats, I don't believe, but you do get HVAC back there, and you do get one peasant blocker as well, and the trunk is absolutely massive as well, so that's great. But no spare tire, of course, because it's riding on run flat tires. So what's my verdict? What's my conclusions? I like this car. Like I mentioned before, it's a phenomenal car now. This is the model I recommend. I know a lot of you might have liked the other LS500 interior, because you also, not only is the layout different, but I'm sorry, not the layout, the materials are different, but the options you get, you have far more customization. There's not really much in terms of customization you can do with this car. You can add like the Mark Levinson and a few other different things like a cold weather package, but you can't get the Carico glass and the executive seating package. You can't get any of those things. This is very much the LS500 you enjoy driving. So that's great that there is now like this fun to drive sedan. Aside from the GSF and something like an IS350 F Sport, this is also a relatively fun driving sedan from Lexus. So I appreciate that, and I think you can too, especially since it can also come in all-wheel drive. So, you know, take advantage of this car, especially this one in particular, because it's marked down to 74 grand. The lease prices are pretty damn good on these things. So I'll leave that to you with Danny. You know, you can talk to him about all that stuff if you're interested, or any of the other cars that they have here for sale. So hopefully this review helped. I didn't go into too much of the specs and all that because I already did on the other reviews. So watch those. Thank you again for watching this one. Take care and goodbye.